This is Tamar Frankel with the 19th podcast in our series for the 21st of Elul. We've now completed our study of the main themes of the Rosh Hashanah prayers. Yay! Now, there are three closing blessings of the Amidah that mirror the three opening ones. If you recall, we ascended to the Kedusha and then entered into the deep meditations of the holiday. This was the fourth world, nearness. Now we descend from there toward the ordinary world. We give thanks to God for our divine blessings. And then we turn to the Kohanim, the priests, to lead the blessing of peace. We need the blessing of peace before we leave the fourth world, the sages tell us, because without peace, none of our other blessings are secure. That's so true. And it is God who guarantees peace. Oseh shalom b'mromav, he who makes peace in the high heavens, may he also make peace for us. But I want to point to a specific and unusual practice within the priestly blessing that has to do, surprisingly, with dreams. You won't see this done publicly and aloud. That itself is unusual, but it is in all traditional prayer books. Since even the priestly blessing as a full ceremony isn't done in Reform congregations, I need to explain it a bit. This special priestly blessing ceremony among Ashkenazic Jews on holidays, and among Sephardim it's even more often, involves the descendants of Kohanim, priests who have a lineage from Aaron, are called up to make the priestly blessing. In Reform, the words are said, but the prayer leader does it without the ceremony, as everybody else in the Ashkenazi community does on weekdays, and most Shabbats. This ceremony is called duchening. The Kohanim remove their shoes. Their hands are washed by Leviim, that is, descendants of other priestly tribes. And then the Kohanim stand before the congregation with large talisim covering their heads, shoulders, and arms. They make the sign of the blessing with their hands and then recite it in call and response fashion between the leader of the service and them, chanting with a strong voice. There are three verses. You will probably be familiar with these in English. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift his face toward you and grant you peace. The congregation listens and says to each blessing, Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Each of these call and response recitals takes a couple of minutes. And during that time, the congregation does not look at the Kohanim. And in the prayer book, there are meditations for them to recite and concentrate on in the space of the chanting. It's quite a remarkable ceremony. Now, the meditation during the third verse of the priestly blessing is a request for God to listen to each individual's prayers. But the meditation during the first blessing and repeated during the second is a meditation about dreams. It's essentially a prayer for good dreams, and also that any dream that might seem bad be healed. I'll shorten it a bit, but it goes like this. Master of the universe, I am yours and my dreams are yours. I have dreamed a dream and don't know what it means. May it be your will that all my dreams of Israel be good. My dreams about myself, about others, and those others have dreamed about me. If they are good, strengthen and fortify them, establish them in me and in others, like the dreams of the righteous Joseph. If they require healing, heal them, like King Hezekiah from his illness, like the prophet Miriam from her tsaras, that was the leprosy-like scale disease, like Naaman from his tsaras, like the bitter waters were healed through the hand of Moses and the waters of Jericho by the hand of Elisha. Just as you transformed the curse of the wicked Balaam into a blessing, may you transform all my dreams of myself and others for goodness. Why are we saying this, and what particularly does it have to do with the priestly blessing? Clearly, our sages thought that dreams may have an effect on life, and that they sometimes need to be turned to the good. I believe they're saying that the way we understand our dreams can contribute to a healthy life or a not so healthy one. I suspect they knew that when a dream sticks in our minds, it's often because we're uncomfortable with it. But they didn't want us to just dismiss dreams as though they were nothing. Rather, they needed to be transformed. And they clearly held that a good dream should be cherished, or as it is said here in this prayer, established in me as a foundation for inner strength. The Talmud says, remember a good dream for 22 years. Why 22? That's how long Joseph held on to his dreams during his exile from his father and the rest of his family. So why do we say this at the priestly blessing? Well, the priests were the conduits of and monitors of holiness for the Jewish people. Their job was to guard the holy place, the Mishkan in the desert and the temple later, as a place for God's presence. In the ancient Near East, many people went to temples in ancient times to seek spiritual guidance and even to sleep and dream there. At our temple, priests did sleep there on their watch, but not, so far as we know, specifically to dream. Clearly, though, some priests were prophets and received visions in the temple. The high priest also consulted the Urim and Thummim as a kind of oracle. We might put it this way. Part of the priestly guardianship was of the inner dimensions of our collective life, including oracles, visions, and perhaps dreams. Priests might have even initiated the practice that we find in the Talmud of turning the dream to good. That would explain why this healing the dream idea shows up in the priestly blessing. The goodness that is mediated through the images that came in sleep or in vision would have been significant to all Israel, just as were our ethical actions and ritual offerings. So they would have been part of the business of the priests. And how about for us now? This moment, whether there's a great ceremony or a shorter recital, is an opportunity to recall not only our external actions and our purposeful thoughts, but also the inner dimensions that come to life during the night. The concerns that dreams sometimes arouse in us can be transformed to good. And our good dreams can be a source of strength and joy. I'll add a small commercial on this topic. My new book is on dreams, and it may be out near the end of the year. It's called She Rises While It Is Still Night, Dreaming in the Four Worlds of Kabbalah. Look for it from Gowan Books, the same folks who published my Loving Prayer. This is Tamar Frankel, wishing you a good year. We're coming to that time soon.